Greetings, artists. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to draw and shade some basic forms, including a cylinder, cone, cube, and sphere. You should already have your pre-drawing of these, and you can just set that aside. Please make a new page or a new chart to do your post-drawing or your after drawing. So this is after instruction. Your pre-drawing is before instruction. So again, at the end of this, you're going to end up with 2 drawings of each item. The first one is a cylinder. So a cylinder is a really good form to know how to draw because it can be the basis for a lot of other things, including water bottles, even figures, cars, telephone poles. A lot of things can be drawn if you know how to draw a cylinder. So we're going to be looking at this basic form, and there's 2 things I want you to notice. It's basically made up of an oval at the top, an oval at the bottom. You can't see the whole thing, but we're looking at half of it here. And then 2 straight lines, and the whole thing is symmetrical down the middle. So notice that when we have a circle and we're looking at it at an angle, it becomes an oval. This is called an ellipse, and it is going to be important to draw that oval to create a realistic cylinder. So let's start with that shape. Now when I'm drawing, I'm just keeping my my pencil kind of loose, and I'm going to draw 2 ovals here. One for the top and one for the bottom. Then I'm going to connect them with 2 horizontal lines. I can clean this up a little bit and change the shape of the oval a little bit if I need to. I'm going to erase this back line because that's not actually visible in a solid cylinder. So you can see that the bottom of the cylinder and the top of the cylinder pretty much match. They're curving at the same kind of direction. So there's my cylinder. A cone is very similar to a cylinder, but it has a point at the top instead of being straight up. So it's still made of a circle at the bottom, which when we tilt it away from us becomes an oval. So I'm going to draw an oval down at the bottom. And again, this can be kind of sketchy. I can change the shape of it a little bit later. And then, cones, they could have a smaller oval at the top, or they could come all the way to a point. However you want to do that is fine. So I'm just going to go to a point here, and both of my lines go from the edge of the oval to the point. And this should be pretty symmetrical down the middle. If you were to cut it in half, it would be pretty symmetrical. Okay, and then I'm going to erase this. All right, so there's my cone. For the cube is the basis for a lot of other things. If you can draw a cube, you can draw a deck of cards, you could draw this flower pot, you can draw a building, you can draw a chair. Those all have the basic form of a cube. So it's important to know how to draw a cube. We're going to be drawing one from about this angle. So notice that there are 3 vertical lines. We have this outside edge, this edge that's pointing straight at us, and this outside edge. We can't actually see the line in the back, but we know it's there. Okay, so we basically have 3 vertical lines and then parallel lines going off of those. I'll show you what I mean. So we can start by drawing 3 vertical lines of the same length, because all of these lengths have to be the same. So about the same length. Mine are looking a little bit curved, so I'm just going to straighten those out. And then these lines should be parallel. So that one went a little too far. Okay, so this line and this line are parallel. This line and this line are parallel. And I have my 3 lines, my 3 vertical lines, and notice that the middle one it starts and it ends a little bit lower than the other 2. Now, the next thing we need to do is create this shape on top, which is also a square. And when we turn a square away from us, it becomes more like the shape of a diamond, because those lines are going away from us. So what I'm going to do is just put a dot kind of, if I were to draw a straight line, I want the top and the bottom to be equal distance away. So another way to think of it is, here's a line that is parallel to this line, and this line needs to be parallel to this line. So you should check your angles, and one way to do that is take a piece of paper or a ruler or a card and go like this. This is my angle. I'm going to scoot it up and that's about the same angle. Here's my angle. I'm gonna scoot it up, and that's about the same angle. This angle matches that angle. This angle matches this angle. Pretty good. All right, our last one is a sphere, and a sphere is a three-dimensional circle. So I have this little globe here to demonstrate what this is. And for this one, it's basically all about shading. So when you look at a sphere straight on, if you're just looking at the outline, it really just looks like a circle. So a good way to draw a circle is to practice a lot, but also instead of moving your hand like this, or just your wrist, you want to move from your shoulder. Okay, so right now I'm moving my whole shoulder, and you can see that my wrist is staying steady. Okay, so my wrist isn't moving, my pencil isn't moving. It's just from the motion of my shoulder. I'm keeping it light and sketchy. Okay, and then what I can do is I can pick the best line. So I'm gonna erase everything that kind of doesn't look like a circle or looks like a little bit more like an oval. Just kind of clean it up. And then I'm going to enhance where it looks like the right shape that I want. Okay, so this should be kind of what your page looks like for the after instruction drawing. And then we're also gonna add shading on here. So I'm gonna come back in another video and show you how to do shading on each of these forms using the shading techniques that we learned last week. So stop the video here, go back and watch it if you need to, and I will meet you in part 2 for shading.